Welcome back, fight fans, to another exciting episode on our channel. Today, we have a colossal event to unpack as two behemoths of combat sports finally collide. What they said to each other and how this ended. Also, in the video, we will discuss the possibility of an epic fight between Jon Jones and boxing sensation Tyson Fury, but within the framework of the innovative hybrid rules. So what does that mean, and do we have a chance to see this crazy fight? Let's find out, so get ready. But before we kick off the video, I just want to ask you guys, please do not forget to like and subscribe to the channel. We greatly appreciate it, so thank you in advance. The two strongest heavyweights on the planet, Jon Jones and Francis Ngannou, had a battle of the eye when they went head-to-head at PFL 5 in Atlanta, although a fight between the two seems unlikely.
With the one true king.
You got a big Tory?
Huh? Listen, I give you everything. I've always been king. Since the day I started this. And I'm gonna die a king. I have to get to the size to kick your ass. Size to kick your ass.
At least in the near future, the fighters behave like potential rivals, each of whom considers himself the heavyweight king. Specifically, Jones asked Ngannou if he was improving his wrestling skills, adding that the Cameroonian would take over a year to prepare for his level of wrestling. Ngannou in response recalled that he had been waiting for 2 years in the UFC for a fight with Jones, who did not dare enter the octagon with him. Jones explained that he needed more time to gain weight and kick your ass. Now, despite the skirmish, it was clear that there was no real animosity between the two fighters, and in the end they parted amicably, wishing each other good luck. I have met Francis before. He is a good-natured guy. Outside the cage, he is respectful, and I can be respectful too, but I can't wait to feed him with my fists. We do not have a fight, so there is no reason for conflict, especially in person. I know that I'm cooler than him, and I don't want to look at him strangely in order to prove it. He has big muscles, he looks impressive, but when it comes to a fight, this is my world, Jones stated in an interview with the PFL. Now, if you recall that Jon Jones returned to the octagon in March after a 3-year break and then won the vacant UFC Heavyweight Championship belt, finishing by guillotine choke in the first round, Cyril Gane.
The Francis fight exposed one aspect of his game that you're never going to beat Jon in, and that's the wrestling.
Yeah.
And then everybody said, well, he didn't know that Francis was going to wrestle him. Given. Francis is not the caliber of wrestler or even in the realm of Jon Jones.
No doubt.
Jon Jones has been wrestling since he was 12 years old. He took down Daniel Cormier, who's an Olympic-level wrestler.
Yep.
There is not a guy in the world that can say that you could start wrestling at 29 years old. I mean, you'd have to be the freakiest of freak athletes to be able to compete with that guy to start wrestling when Cyril Gane started wrestling.
Right.
The gap is just too wide to cross.
Right.
I will always and still this day I'm like, if ever there is an opportunity to fight Jon Jones, we will do it. But I don't know how. Maybe a cross promotion. I don't know. But Jon Jones is somebody that anyone that's looking to make a legacy in this sport would like to fight.
We could all talk about this forever. There's only one way to find out. Let's do it.
Now, according to the available information, Jones will have his next fight against Stipe Miocic or Sergey Pavlovich, or even possibly with Tyson Fury. Reigning WBC heavyweight boxing world champion Tyson Fury has received an official offer from the UFC to hold a hybrid fight against the current UFC heavyweight title holder, Jon Jones. I spoke with Francis Ngannou about a hybrid fight, and right now we are discussing the possibility of a hybrid fight with Jon Jones. MMA News quoted the Gypsy King. Yesterday, I received an official offer from the UFC, so let's see how it goes. I definitely have a bright future and many different options.
I've been in talks with Francis Ngannou for a hybrid fight. There's talks of me and Jon Jones doing a hybrid fight as we talk right now. I received an offer from the UFC yesterday, so you never know what's going to happen. The future's bright for sure, and there's a lot of options out there. And it seems at the moment I'm struggling to get an actual boxing opponent. I think Mauricio Suleiman, the president of the WBC, did an interview podcast recently, and he said Tyson's a victim of his own success. He's that good. People don't want to fight him. They'd rather fight somebody else. and that's what I'm experiencing right now. I think I've called out everybody in the top 15 in the heavyweight division in the last 6 months, and I'm still without an opponent as we speak today.
Now, previously, UFC President Dana White spoke about his readiness to organize a fight between Jon Jones and Tyson Fury. However, it was about a full-fledged MMA rule fight and the UFC title being at stake. At one point, a fight according to the so-called hybrid rules, which implies a boxing match in gloves but in an MMA octagon, Tyson Fury offered to hold Francis Ngannou there. However, things did not go according to rumors. At the moment, the British boxer has resumed negotiations on a unification fight with Ukrainian Oleksandr Usyk. But Fury said that he could not find an opponent for his next fight.
Tyson Fury here, WBC World Heavyweight King. This is the message to Alexander Usyk and his full team. I'm sick of all this back and forward, he said, she said. Why don't we just do this? Look, why don't we fight this summer, me and you, at Wembley Stadium for the percentage you've already agreed, and if you want a rematch so desperately, you can have one. I don't need rematches, I don't need nothing, because I'm going to cut you down like cheese. So here's the offer. Come, let's do the fight at Wembley this summer, me and you. Forget about fighting Deontay Wilder, who I've knocked out twice, and forget about fighting Daniel Dubois, who's not on our levels. You've already beat Joshua. The only fight left is me and you for Undisputed. I know you didn't fancy it the first time, so let's see if we can rekindle it and have a good fight for the fans. Let's get it on. Make the right decision.
So which fight would you like to see more? Fury versus Jones, Fury versus Ngannou, or Fury versus Alexander Usyk? Leave your thoughts down in the comments below.